Greetings and salutations. This week on the podcast, we continue our Winona Ryder 101 class. That's right, there's a new sheriff in town. We're watching the 1988 classic, Heathers.
Fill me up with a barrel full of monkeys, as I hate being bored, Load me up cause I'm such a junkie, every day all I want is more. So entertain me right now. So entertain me right now.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. I'm Alex, and I'm with my fellow junkies, Heather, and Heather.
It's actually Shauna.
And Haley.
And Nicole.
Okay, sure. Today, we look at Heathers, a dark satire on high school cliquedom, teenage suicide, and scrunchies.
Can I just say, I am gay for Winona Ryder because of this movie.
Haley came out.
I am coming out. It's a Winona Ryder exclusive. I mean, it's kind of, no, that's not true.
Did you
Brie
watch this
Larson
when oh, no, you weren't.
and Winona
She's
Ryder.
selectively
gay. Is that a thing?
She
I don't
wants
know.
the kind of world to sort
What's
of
your
know.
husband's name? David?
David,
Sorry,
yeah.
David.
David knows, I think, at this point in time. He's like, it's unhealthy how much you love
yeah.
that woman.
Oh, Andrew knows my bisexuality is so hard. Is that not what we were talking about? We were talking about Winona Ryder.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
Yes,
we're-
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yep. mhm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
I mean, she's an icon. She's the moment. She has been the moment since 1988.
She has never stopped being the moment.
It's true.
So that's why we're doing a 101 on Winona Ryder. And this is episode 2 of that 101. What was it like the first time? Jeez, you guys must have been like, whoosh.
Oh, just
Too much.
You'll
Yeah,
have to
you
find
missed
out.
out. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, we were like creaming all over. Honestly,
That's adorable.
That's adorable.
Oh my gosh.
the lesbian energy is strong in
It's
this
true.
room.
We
Yeah.
just love women. We love badass women.
We love, Winona Ryder. And badass women. And Heathers, I've never seen Heather before. This is
Oh,
new
yeah.
to
Okay.
me.
So that was
This
your
is
first
Yeah,
time?
me neither.
First ever.
First time.
First time all the way through. I had seen the second half.
Popped my cherry.
Ooh. This was my second time seeing it. I watched it in high school, and then I started saying "fuck me gently" with a chainsaw more than a person should.
Yeah, I watched this movie maybe the first 40 minutes in my car. So I wasn't actually looking at it.
You were listening to
driving?
I was
it.
listening to it. Honestly, poetry. It was just like all these like tweets that can like all these like one-liners that can
Yeah.
be tweets or like rap lyrics. And it was just like, what is going on here? They were like very clever with the dialogue.
A lot of these quotes have actually been turned into song lyrics, including that one is
Fuck
the
me,
lyric
Chinese
in
She,
a
song.
sentence
wait, which
fail.
one? Which one?
fuck
Haley?
The chainsaw one. Thank
I'm
you.
gonna-
Actually, they
I'm gonna
edited
make
it.
her say it sometime.
They
y'all.
edited it in the song to say "Love me gently" with a chainsaw.
You don't
and I was like,
love
"Come
someone
on,
with a chainsaw.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, just say it. We know what you're trying to say. But I agree. Yeah, great one-liners. The movie was written by Daniel Waters, who also became the writer on Batman Returns, which is also full of some great one-liners. Very different movie. And also was writer and consultant on the Heathers TV show remake
There's
for
a remake?
Paramount
Wait, what is
in
this?
2018. Yeah, it sucked. No one liked
2018? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought
So like recently.
it. Yeah.
like yesterday.
God.
Yeah.
That
I do
was
want
like
to
yesterday.
say Winona Ryder is named Veronica in the film, though.
Yeah.
She's not a Heather.
She is
That
not
is
a
true.
Heather,
That is
but
true.
she is.
But she
being
is a Heather.
welcomed
Yes.
into the Heathers.
That is true.
And there's
Yes.
Heather, and Heather, and they're part of the Heathers, and some of them die.
The end. All right.
Heather,
Thank you for
so-
joining us this week in the Pop Culture Junkies.
Really, it's Mean Girls, but with murder.
Yeah.
Is the plot.
That's very accurate.
Yeah.
Right? You've got Heather Chandler, who's like the lead Heather. And
Regina George.
Who's Regina George, right? And then you've got Veronica, who would be
Katie Herring. Yeah. We have Heather McNamara, who is kind of like the Gretchen Wiener, maybe.
Is that Shannon
yeah,
Doherty?
for sure.
Ooh, is Shannon Doherty?
No,
the
I would say
leader?
Shannon Doherty is more Karen because she's kind of like the airheaded one.
Okay.
Oh, right.
All
Yeah,
right.
okay.
And then that's Heather Duke.
Right.
So we start the movie and Veronica's already in it. She's already part of this clique. You can tell that they're kind of auditioning her almost to be a Heather. They're like, this party tonight is make it or break it. They all play croquet. And one thing about the croquet that stuck with me, they have to color coordinate their outfit for the
Yes.
croquet ball every
Yes.
time.
I
Well, and
noticed
who
that.
plays croquet? Like,
Rich
still-
white
was
women
that
in the
big in the
80s?
80s?
I still don't know
Must
what
have
it
been.
is. Is that the thing that looks like golf and you put sticks?
Right.
Yeah.
It's very Alice in Wonderland. Like, that's what I think of.
I think it was just to give them an air of snobbiness.
What color would you have been?
Can mine be glittery?
Sure.
Okay, I want to
Glittery
be
black.
I want to be like a glittery black.
I get
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
I like it. That represents the two sides of your personality. Either glittery or black.
Or
Yeah.
black.
What was interesting to me is that there's no explanation really as to why Veronica wants to be part of this group other than the built-in status that goes along with it. But they don't really give her much of a backstory as
No.
far as what would drive her to do this, because right away we see her writing in her journal about how much she hates them and how obnoxious they are. And tomorrow I'll be back, running their errands for them. But tonight I'm going to dream about killing them.
Yeah, and they're all making fun of that girl in the cafeteria, and she seems
Betty?
very
Is it
bothered
Betty?
by it. Like she didn't want to participate, but she goes along with it.
Oh, the other one? No.
The like
dump truck?
the heavier set girl who's like in the corner that they all kind
That
of like.
literally made me want to cry.
I know.
It was
felt
brutal,
so bad
like
for her.
right out the gate,
Awful.
so brutal. But it's also important, I think, that is so brutal and so awful because that's also our introduction to JD.
Yep.
Where JD sees what they're doing and is observing, silently in the corner until. Which also, let's launch into this. So the movie could be called Heather's subtitle. Misogyny, homophobia, toxic masculinity, like
my
violence in high
God,
school, like
right? Trigger warning, trigger warning.
yeah, I was like, this movie would never get made
Isn't
today.
that high school? I've never been to regular high school.
Yes
But-
and no.
okay.
Just last school year, I had a girl come up to me and say, "Can you move my seat because this guy sitting next to me is saying some off-color, whether it was racially motivated or whatever, homophobic stuff." And she's like, "And I'm uncomfortable and I'm going to move. Can you move my seat?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Had to address it with the kid. But it's so much more now, I think, is done in a joking way. It's done in a lighthearted. It's not done in a, I'm specifically targeting you because I want you to kill yourself kind of
Yeah.
way.
I feel like the current generation, I have so much hope in like Gen Z, how they all really like hold each other accountable from what I see. And they all seem like they're making a real effort to try to be good people, to call out misogyny and transphobia and homophobia and racism.
They don't let kids get away with it, I think.
Yeah, like it's not quote cool anymore to be
I
like
don't know
that.
any Gen Zs.
Yeah.
But in Heather's, we get the jocks right at the front of the, the top of the film who confront JD and call him all these, gay slurs just because his hair had some gel in it or something. You know what I mean?
Because
there's
he doesn't
nothing
play
different.
sports, I guess.
Yeah.
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 Who's that guy they were trying to make say, I suck big dicks?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
There was so much to be said. I mean, even one of the deaths they set up is, meant to look
Oh, yeah.
like
Like
a,
homo. Like they were like in this homosexual
Yeah.
like relationship.
Yeah.
gay people just are the punchline over and over and over and over
Yeah,
again.
Absolutely.
Throughout the movie. So yeah, that was jarring to watch it. And I think also that's part of the point is these people are awful. They are the worst of the worst. So
Which is why we don't feel bad when they die. I
Yeah.
mean, we know that it's bad that they're dying. We know JD is a sociopath and he's killing people and like just disclaimer from the pop culture junkie, don't kill your bullies.
Yeah, right.
But
We do not endorse.
we do not endorse murder. But when we see one of the Heathers die or we see these bullies die, we're not like, oh my God.
Right.
We're like, oh, well, JD's a crazy guy, but that guy sucked too.
Do you think he became like this because he saw his mom die? Because his dad blew up the library, whatever she was in. Do you think he his mind became that because of what he saw.
I can see that because his dad is a bully. He's over here talking shit about all these people. He's like, what, a developer or some sort? And I don't know. But he's like, I make money off these poor people. I'm going to take all of their lives away and just build my own wealth.
Veronica even says that later. She's like, like the apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that the parents in this movie are so absent, and they make a real way to show that. Like when Veronica first sits down with her mom and dad, they have this little like, oh, take a load off, Veronica. Oh, gotta go, mom and dad. And then like later in the movie, they have the exact same conversation and like the same interaction.
Or when
she's
the
like,
mom
gotta go to a funeral.
When the mom walks in and thinks that Veronica has hung herself, and she's just like, oh, I should have done more. Like not even tries to save her or anything.
She's not like losing her shit. She's just like, oh, shucks.
Bummer. So the English nerd in me has to point out something in this movie. So JD is named for JD Salinger, who's the author of Catcher in the Rye, which if you're unfamiliar with the plot is, the story of Holden Caulfield, who's this teenager who hates society, is kind of going up against the world. And it was really controversial for the time in which it was written because there's this line where he puts on this red hunting hat and people go, what's that hat? And he goes, oh, this is my people shooting hat. And people took that literally like, oh, Holden Caulfield's going to go kill people. And then later on, you've got people like the dude who assassinated John Lennon had a copy of Catcher in the Rye in his back pocket. You got the guy who tried to shoot Reagan, I think, same thing, had it in his pocket. And so the book's getting banned because people are saying this book encourages people to kill people. So you got this little tie-in, right, with this character. And actually in the movie, you know how Moby Dick is featured so prominently, where he's like, I'm going to underline lines in Moby Dick, and everyone's reading this book in high school. That was originally supposed to be Catcher in the Rye.
All right.
But J.D. Salinger's estate was like, nope, we're not going to give you the rights to use it in the movie because we're tired of people misreading his book and not understanding and not using their
I love
brains.
Catcher in the Rye in school.
I did too. I used to teach
it.
it. So anyway, fun facts.
Teacher
About the
teaching.
tie-in. Bringing in my master's degree for one episode of Pop Culture Thing.
And now she can hang it up and never think about it again.
So Veronica, she's in high school. She meets these friends. They try to like recruit her into her Heather's club. She meets JD. JD's like, oh, F these people. These are horrible people. And she feels a connection with them. So they go out killing these bullies.
Mm-hmm. Well, at first they go to a party, which was kind of like her, you have to prove yourself at this party if you want to be one of the cool kids. I do want to go back to JD for a second, though, in the cafeteria before we move on.
Yeah.
He shoots a fucking gun in the cafeteria.
But it was blank, so it's no big deal.
Oh, my God. That is
Nobody cared.
Like, Andrew
Nobody died.
Stopped, and he's like, he pauses the movie, and he looks at me, he's like, did he just shoot a fucking gun? Like, yeah, it's pre-Columbine. People did that. I don't know if people did that, but that's insane that he was just got away with jokingly shooting a gun in school. I don't know. Like that took me out of the movie for a minute.
It is really bizarre. But that's one of those things when we go back and we watch a movie and it's like a time capsule. And, there's so much of this that now I wish I could go back and watch this in 1988. You know what I mean?
Just be like, oh yeah, ha ha ha, his gun had blanks. And now watching this after all the tragedies that we've experienced over, the last 30 years or whatever, I'm like, oh God, put him in jail immediately.
I would never show this. I would never tell a current teenager to go watch Heathers.
Oh my God.
Knowing like how impressionable they are. And that's the weird thing is when I first saw this, I saw the second half. It was on TV. I was in high school. And I remember kind of watching it, not really thinking critically about it at all.
Exactly.
And just kind of going, oh, this is a weird movie about kids killing each other.
Yeah.
And now watching it in my 30s and with everything horrible happening in reality and being a teacher and also being a weird kind of outcast kid, it's like I appreciate it so much more. The nuance, the satire, the social commentary, the criticism. But it's like, I wonder if I would even appreciate it in 1988.
Exactly. Did they think critically about it? I want to talk to somebody who watched this as a teenager in 1988. Were they like breaking it down in the manner that, probably, I'm not insinuating people in 88 were devoid of critical thought, but yeah, it's just seeing everything that we've been through now and then looking back on it. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And the idea of this fake suicide contagion.
Yeah.
Like, trigger warning, obviously, for this episode, the movie deals with suicides, but they're not real suicides. But then the fake suicides lead to this suicide contagion of other teenagers attempting suicide. And we know now in 2022, that's a very real thing. Like you see communities who are dealing with continued loss, whether it's LGBTQ communities or teenagers, because we know that suicide contagion is a real thing.
Exactly.
And like, did they know that then,
Because they were trying to make the suicide seem so trendy. And that's why I think it's so important that we see that girl get bullied continually throughout the movie. Because she's the only character in the whole movie to actually try to kill herself. And then they all make fun of her.
Yeah, they're like, she's just trying to be us.
Because she wasn't successful. So they look at it like yet another failure for this kid. And like, I just feel like it's almost tough to watch at times.
Yeah.
But it's such like a scathing indictment on awful people.
Yeah.
And not just people, like you asked, is high school like that? I don't think high school is like this, but is society as a whole still very much like this in a lot of ways? Absolutely. And with the internet, I feel like that is now the cesspool of humanity. Where
people want to see the spectacle. We want to see, and like I just watched Nope yesterday, the Jordan Peele movie, and so much I don't want to spoil it because it's so good. So much about it is about what people will do to capture the spectacle of it all and put it on film. And I guess it's just human nature. I mean, when we drive past a car crash, everybody cranes their heads. It's just, what can you do to be popular? What can you do to fit in? What can you do to take everything to the next level while people remember you?
And that's the thing too, is that like the first death, Heather Chandler's death, is accidental for Veronica,
but not for JD.
He was orchestrating it from the beginning. But even then, a normal person's response would have been like, oh my gosh, let's call 911. Like, let's try to save her. And Veronica's response is like, okay, I'm going to go along with JD's idea of writing this suicide note, which is bizarre in and of itself.
Yeah, that's right. Because even when he was using the word myriad, she was like, she would never use that word.
Yeah.
But there was still some sort of connection in terms, like, I guess she had some sort of exam beforehand, and like now she wants to use it correctly.
But I think Veronica, at least in the beginning, thought that, okay, this might fix things. But when she realizes that when you get rid of one, another one just takes its place, you can't possibly get rid of all of them, I think that is where she's like, oh my gosh, what have we done?
We're not just going to go on a killing rampage, which JD wants to do.
Because JD's whole speech at the end about, society made me do this. I didn't do this. Society made me do this. If that isn't a scary mirror to like all the crazy psycho.
I was just about to say that is strong white boy school shooter energy right there, JD.
And it's like scary, like listening to it. But in 1988, was it scary? Like, I don't know. I'm just so fascinated by this movie.
Oh, it's completely fascinating.
Well, then imagine what happened 20 years later. Throughout those 20 years.
Yeah.
So, there's, you were saying Columbine.
Yep.
Just recently.
Exactly. So after Heather Chandler meets her untimely demise, I just killed my best friend or your worst enemy. Same thing. So Heather Duke rises through the ranks to take her place, which a lot of little eating disorder jokes just thrown in for good measure.
Yeah.
Is that the one that called into the radio station?
No, actually, you know what? And I take it back when I said that the girl who was bullied was the only one who tried to kill herself, because Heather McNamara tried to kill herself too. And then Veronica ran in and stopped her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, in the bathroom.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
So Heather Chandler drinks drain cleaner and falls through a glass table. I shouldn't laugh. It's funny.
That's the weird thing about this movie, though, too.
I shouldn't laugh.
No.
I giggle.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm like, oh man, this has gotten like really dark, because the movie is really dark.
But it's really funny.
It's also really, I was laughing the whole time, like
it's
start to finish.
Dark comedy. I mean, it is. You're like, oh God, this is so fucked up, but oh God.
Fuck me gently with a chainsaw.
Fuck me gently with a chainsaw, right?
Yeah. What's your
I just want to
damage?
know, like, would that cleaner work that fast to kill her? I felt like it wouldn't work literally immediately after.
I feel like she would start vomiting first.
I also
Sounds
feel
like
like she
bad
would have
diarrhea.
realized I'm drinking like straight rat poison. Like,
She's
I'm
used to
like-
taking shots, man. She just go devils
And
down
then my
that
other
shit.
thing too was like when JD and Veronica did this, and they were like, "Oh my god, let's write a suicide note." I'm like, "What about your fingerprints in the house?"
I thought that
oh, there's
too.
so much DNA all over the
I was
place
like,
in this movie.
In 88, they
But-
don't care about fingerprints.
Yes,
It was
but then-
already answered. There was a suicide note. The police don't have to do any work. Bam. There
Same
it is.
thing with the football players in the woods,
Yeah.
right? So they stage this whole murder, but it's supposed to look like a murder-suicide in the woods, which, by the way, the homophobic kids get murdered and made to look like they were in like a gay relationship. Nice. It was awesome.
It is pretty poetic. I mean, we have to talk about the funeral. We're skipping around.
my
so
God.
Oh,
much.
yeah, that's true. Everybody had something to say.
Okay. So, okay.
I love that there's a funeral for every single kid, and it's
I
the
know.
exact. It's just the same thing over and over.
And did you
over.
guys notice it's Otho?
Yes.
Yeah.
Otho from Beetlejuice
From
is
Beetlejuice.
the.
He's like the priest or whatever.
I can't take him seriously at
No,
all.
me neither. I just thought of him in his powder blue suit. So everybody gets a funeral, and then, you know, it's kind of like the hottest gig of the season. This year's hottest party is Heather McNamara's funeral. Everyone will be there. So, yes, they have the funeral for the jocks after JD tells Veronica that the guns have blanks in them. She's so fucking stupid, you guys.
Is she stupid or does she just want to believe him? Because he brought that up. He's like, you wanted to do it. He goes, did you take German? And he makes up some German word, which I think actually I looked it up. What he said means I'm lying or something like that in German.
Oh, like the bullets. He's like, yeah,
Yeah, they're Leiden, Lubin, Tubin, whatever they are. I don't know.
Sorry to all of our German listeners.
But yeah, so I know we're jumping around a lot, but that brings up another point too, where you know she's like, "Oh, you're psycho, you're nuts," and he's like, "Nah, like you wanted to do it, or you would have backed out."
She has been there along with him the entire time. There's one point, God, I don't remember exactly when it is, where she's like, "No, you're crazy," and then the next scene cuts to them and they're at someone's house together, and I'm like, "Well, then why did she go with him?" Like, I think you're totally right. Oh God, you're nuts. Oh, but then she fires that second shot.
Yeah. I thought she was going to kind of go back a little bit when she was at the football player's funeral and they were laughing. And then the little girl, probably one of their like little sisters or whatever, turns around and just is bawling. You could tell that she's like, oh crap, what did we do? But
I think that was one of her
doesn't stop.
moments that she's like, this isn't okay anymore.
Yeah,
The funeral was funny though. I'm sorry.
the funeral's so funny.
They buried
the dad.
him. Oh, go ahead, Haley.
It's my favorite line. I text you guys
I
the
know.
second I
You
watched
have
it
to
because
say
I
it.
was crying. It's the best. So this whole idea of like this dad's like, I didn't care what you were and I just loved you. And then he yells just in front of everybody at the top of his lungs, I love my dead gay son.
I love my dead gay son.
It's my favorite part of the movie because it's just so like, it's oddly sincere, but it's also so ridiculous.
And like out of context, it's just so absurd. And they're in their football helmets.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Side by side.
So stupid.
They're having this like super gay accepting funeral, and these guys were super homophobic.
Gosh. Or Heather Chandler's funeral where you listen to their thoughts and the one Heather was like, oh my God, I kind of wanted this, but like, is that actually bad that I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, and the one guy's like, good one, God. Psych, just kidding. That was a joke. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
Took a hot one.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my God.
he took a hot one, God.
Oh, okay. I'm just thinking this just now because I know we were talking about why is Veronica so impressionable? Like, why is she so quick to follow JD and then try to pin everything on JD and not really take any responsibility for herself?
Yeah.
But if you look at the society that they're in, like as a whole, and the blatant misogyny, right out the gate, the guys are just talking about sex and girls' bodies. And there's a scene where there's just a date rape going on in the background, and it's not even.
Oh my God, it's not even addressed. Like when
No.
they're in the field,
It's not even.
I'm like, is he
Addressed at all.
assaulting her back there?
Right.
Like,
But you're focusing on like the conversation between JD and Veronica.
Yeah.
But there's just so much of that. And the fact that like these two guys show up these two guys who are really homophobic, but have no problem stripping in front of each other as long as it means that they both get to have sex with the same girl.
Exactly.
Like, there's just so much of that. So I think there's something to be said about the societal conditioning in which men are this powerful, force, and women are just subjects to them and only seen as. And so I think it's hard for Veronica to. I don't think she consciously is there, but I think subconsciously, JD's the boss. He's the one running the show.
I mean, she breaks up with him eventually. Right?
She does. So
she does.
She
then JD finds another person.
After he tries to force himself on her.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Ultimately what it takes for her to be like, screw you, I'm leaving. But we get that again. We get this physical force of men like literally
asserting
physically.
themselves like emotionally and physically and sexually on top of women.
Which is what I think makes Winona Ryder's character in this movie so iconic. It's not that she helped kill the Heathers. It's that she's the one to not only break away from the Heathers and that toxic part of society, but also from the JDs who are like the sociopathic, antagonist. She's the one to say, covered in ash, with the cigarette in her mouth.
Both of you are fucked up. You're fucked up.
Hate
You're fucked
hate
up.
you. I'm going to go hang out with my friend.
Screw you guys. I'm
out
out
of here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like to be able to elevate above all the toxicity and to walk away. And I just love the symbolism of her just covered in the remnant of the explosion.
Exactly. And I love that she doesn't have to be one or the other. She doesn't have to be the peak, queen bee of school, but she also doesn't have to be the loner outcast who wants to kill everybody. Like, no, you guys are both disgusting in your own ways, and I don't want to be associated with any of this. I'm going to hang out with somebody who is actually my friend before I tried to be cool.
And then she's elevated to icon status.
And then she's iconic. Yeah. So at a certain point, she breaks up with JD, and come to find out that JD wants to hurt her in a way, or he wants to kill her. I don't remember how they got to that conclusion. I think she sees like a Barbie in her room, right? Hanging from the fan. I'm getting to her faking her suicide of it all.
Yeah. Was it that, he got pissed that she didn't want anything to do with him. And so,
Oh, and that's right. He teams up with Heather Duke for a little bit.
Yeah. The faking suicide was good. I fell for it for a second.
Yeah, same.
I was like, no.
But I was also confused. Like, how long can you fake a suicide like that? Because
it was around her waist.
Yeah, it was around her waist because it showed her like take off the sheet when he left. Yeah. He also did the anime villain trope of, haha, I'm going to break down my entire evil plan to you.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
Yeah, that was great.
It's always good.
I am going to blow up the school. I'm talking to this dead girl.
Yeah.
He's like, I was going to come in here and kill you myself, but...
There's a lot of that, though, down, you end up getting to the bomb in the basement at the finale of the film. And there's a lot of that, too, where I'm like, okay, this bomb just would have gone off by now.
Right.
There's like so much talking. But, that's storytelling for you.
So, JD is played by Christian Slater.
Hot.
He's hot.
He's actually, he's in the film, one of my most favorite films ever, True Romance. You guys ever?
Oh.
Yeah, that's one of my most favorite films.
He's also in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is where I first fell in love with him. Christian Slater was such a hottie and an icon in the late 80s, early 90s that he ended up becoming the inspiration for the character of Christian in Clueless. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Who shows, that's like why that's his name. And because he's modeled after Christian Slater. He was like the teen beat ultimate heartthrob.
I can see why. Those eyebrows.
Those eyebrows.
Those eyebrows, though. So Winona and Shannon Doherty were actually both high school age in this movie.
Yeah.
So it is interesting seeing them. And like, I thought that too. It's like they actually are convincing high schoolers.
Yeah.
Whereas you see other 80s movies where you're like, oh, that's a 40-year-old man.
And it was this movie, I think it was Tori Spelling, saw Shannon Doherty in this movie, and that's what got her cast in 90210.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, our very own Shauna interviewed Patrick Laborteaux in LA during the LA Comic-Con.
I sure did.
Yeah.
And who did he play in the film?
He was one of the dead gay sons.
Oh, that's awesome.
He was Ram. So yeah, he was one of the bullies. He was really nice.
Hold on, back up. The dead gay son, quote unquote,
His name was Ram.
That is really cool that you got to interview
Yeah,
him.
he was a really nice guy. He was the voice of Flash Thompson in Spider-Man, the animated series. He was in Little House on the Prairie. Super cool dude.
What do you guys think it would have been like if Brad Pitt got the role of JD? Because he auditioned, but he got rejected.
I wouldn't have thought it would. I think it would have been bad.
Who was
I can't
Brad
see him
Pitt?
really as like a bad boy
Yeah,
as
I'm
much as.
I'm trying to think of him in 1988.
I mean, hot as balls.
Super hot, like
Super
Interview with a
hot.
Vampire, but that's a thing. I think he was almost like too suave.
He's too pretty.
Yeah.
It's too pretty.
Yeah.
He can't be like a bad boy.
I mean, Brad Pitt's an incredible actor, so I'm sure he would have nailed it. But
Jason Bateman was also considered for the role of JD, which is kind of hilarious to me.
God, no.
I didn't know Jason Bateman existed at that time.
Oh, dude, Teen
yeah.
Wolf, man.
Teen Wolf?
Yeah, so Teen
Jason
Wolf was,
Bateman?
well, Teen Wolf was Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Teen Wolf 2 was Jason Bateman.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman is so, I love him, but he's so soft. Even in Ozark, he's always like, oh God, stop. Oh shit. Oh God.
No, yeah, actually, I was watching Ozark. I haven't finished it yet, but there's a scene where they're like killing somebody, and he like has to like, he like turns away.
And it
he's
was like, oh
it's a very Jason
darn.
Bateman.
He's a good like straight man. I think he's really good at being the like normal one.
Like in
surrounded
Arrested
by the
Development,
crazies.
that's who he
Yes.
was. Yeah.
But like, yeah, being the crazy, I don't know. I don't know about that.
No, I think they did a good job with Christian Slater.
I agree.
I liked hearing that Shannon Doherty's parents, like she was raised in like a really conservative household. So they were nervous about her taking the role. And she has like the one line at the end, and I can't even remember what she says, but it's like the one semi-vulgar line. And it's not even that bad, but she
Right.
was like, I don't know if I can say that, which is just so funny to think of. Then she went on to be a 90210.
Right, exactly.
You know?
They were like, oh, she's fine. She can be famous now.
You know, I wonder in this movie whether if it was made for Winona Ryder, because J.D. Salinger was her favorite author. And then Westburg High was named after her favorite frontman,
From The Replacements.
The Replacements, yeah. And there's like a lot of Winona Ryder connections on here. So like I and even just like the same week that she got the script, a student from her high school had committed suicide because she was still in high school. Well, she was.
I mean, I guess that kind of shows how actually prevalent that issue was at the time.
And still is, unfortunately.
Right, honestly.
Yeah.
So I wonder like how close to this film was Winona Ryder, like personally.
Yeah.
Because there's all these things surround her.
It's funny because her agent didn't even want her to be in this film because they said that her career would be over. But I feel like if she wasn't in it, it wouldn't have been the same.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Oh,
What was she
absolutely.
in
not.
And I
before
feel like
this
it
one?
kind of helped her
Beetlejuice.
career.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, she's the dark queen, I feel.
Yeah.
Like she's like that lady that all the like the goths.
Oh, we love her.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and like again, I know I
All
did
the
that. I
goths.
did this with our Beetlejuice episode too, but like flashing forward ahead to Stranger Things, like she's the reason that show got made was because she had this iconic filmography, and even though she'd been away for a while, like really had taken a break and had been in the zeitgeist per se, like for a while. Like all the networks passed on the show until the Duffer Brothers got Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, deal.
I watched the show because of Winona Ryder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
me
why
too.
we
That's
all
how I
did.
first got in. Yeah.
Yeah, we all, because like everybody else, no one had ever heard of any of those other people. So it was like, oh, no way, Winona Ryder's like doing a thing again. Like,
Yeah,
Yep.
that's exactly how I felt.
and she
back,
owned
baby.
that first season. Oh,
Oh,
You mean
my
the lady
God,
that just
she
stole
was-
that purse? Yeah, I like her.
Do we want to do some quotes?
Yeah.
yes.
All right, let's
I
do
love
quotes.
quotes.
Let's do quotes.
There's so many good ones.
See?
A lot of them are one-liners.
That's the thing. That's what I meant by tweets. Like all of these, like there's a lot of different parts of this movie where they just felt like they're just things that you would post on your social media.
I really wish we could make very a thing. Did you guys notice in this movie, very is like
Yeah.
the fetch?
How very.
Yeah.
No,
And
I didn't notice that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
very.
the fetch of Heather's. Yeah.
That's so
how
very.
very. That's so
that's so
very.
I
Like, can
couldn't
we
tell
bring
what it
that back?
was though. Was it like cool or was like?
Yeah, that's what the cool kid
I
said.
think it's like extra.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very- Oh,
You
yeah.
say extra.
Oh,
Extra.
that's,
How very.
means.
that's very okay. Yeah.
Quit trying to make very happen.
Very
Not
not
gonna
gonna happen.
I don't know. Very's very, very.
Very,
well-
you know, very.
We all know who Haley wants to be in this first set of quotes.
Okay, well, these are all just one-liners.
We've
So-
said some of them already.
We have.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
We could just go down and just say them one by one if we wanted to.
Okay,
or
I'll
we
start.
could. Okay.
I'll start. What's your damage, Heather?
She's my best friend. God, I hate her.
Betty Finn was a true friend, and I traded her out for a bunch of Swatch dogs and Diet Coke heads.
Fuck me gently with a chainsaw. Do I look like Mother Teresa?
Dear Diary, my teen angst bullshit now has a body count.
Society nods its head at any horror the American teenager can think to bring upon itself.
Whether you kill yourself or not, it's one of the most important decisions a teenager can make.
I just gotta say, it's one of my favorite lines in the movie. It's so awful and
Yeah.
so hilarious.
Who wants to be McNamara and who wants to be Chandler and who wants to be Duke? I'll be McNamara.
I'll be Chandler.
All right, I'll be Duke.
It's your turn, Heather.
No, Heather. It's Heather's turn.
Sorry, Heather.
All right. Did they? So I'm confused. So
They're
these parents all had Heathers at the same time.
Heather was a very
Yeah,
popular. I watched the first time I watched this movie. It was with my friend Heather. I
No.
swear to God.
Oh my goodness, you're lying.
When I
No,
was
I
in,
swear to God.
when I was in high school, it was Brittany. That was the name. It was the Britneys.
Yeah, yeah. I remember Brittany being a very, very.
Very.
Okay.
Brittany, how very?
In 1974, say when these girls were born, Heather was the fourth most popular girl name.
Wow.
Dang, with the facts, Nicole.
Nice.
Wow,
There was this
Drop the mic.
There was a
Yeah.
cartoon on when I was a kid. It was called Recess, and they had like a gaggle of mean girls.
Ashleys.
And they were called the Ashleys.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, that's totally a take on the Heather.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
so funny.
Okay, Nicole, you be Veronica in this next one. Jealous much?
Veronica tries to slap her and fails.
Heather, why can't you just be a friend? Why are you being such a mega bitch?
Because I can be. Veronica, why are you pulling my dick? Do you really think that if Betty Finn's fairy godmother made her cool, she would still hang out with her dweebette friends? No way, Veronica.
I really like this one. I'm going to do this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you were happy every day of your life, you wouldn't be a human being. You'd be a game show host.
That's deep.
Yeah, it's good.
Pretty fucking deep.
It's a good one. I'm going to needle point that on a
That's
pillow.
us.
Can we talk about Christian Slater's delivery of JD for a second?
Okay, yeah. this is
And
what-
his character choice. So it was obviously heavily influenced by Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
He's basically doing a Jack Nicholson impression.
yeah, I saw what's that one with the hotel,
The Shining.
The Shining.
I was like,
like,
what are
yeah.
you? Okay.
Hotel Transylvania 3.
The one with the hotel. Got it.
Hotel
Got it.
Beverly
I'm with
That's what I saw when I was watching this movie.
Yeah.
I'm just going to beat your brains in.
I was trying to find another quote from JD so I could try to do it in like a Jack Nicholson. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Just going to beat your
Chaos is what killed the dinosaurs, darling.
God.
Very, like, it's interesting though, because it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I didn't see it as like some weird, cheap impression or whatever. Like, I feel like it was good.
Because I feel like that's what JD, he was trying to be so different and weird. I'm a weird guy. I shoot guns and I like Jack Nicholson movie.
All right, hang on. So do the Kurt's dad.
I love my dead gay son.
Wonder how he'd react if his son had a limp wrist with a pulse. That's a good line,
That's a
dude.
good line.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Like at the funeral.
Yeah.
So let's grade the film.
All right. I watched this movie and then immediately afterwards, I told my husband, now we have to watch Jawbreaker because they just remind me so much of each other. And I love Jawbreaker so much. It's just like the mean, bitchy girls in school, and they really don't see death in the way that they should. They just kind of see it as a status symbol and a way to move up. Mm-hmm. And that's one of my favorite movies. This movie, I mean, it is, like we say a lot, a product of its time. There's a lot of things that they do in this film that we would not see in movies in 2022. But that doesn't make it a bad movie. That doesn't mean I don't like it. I'm going to give Heather's overall an A-. I really liked this movie. I love Winona Ryder in it. It's iconic. There's so many good lines, but there are things that I see being very triggering for people watching it now.
Yes, I completely agree. I guess me seeing it for the first time in 2022, it was a lot to watch. So I'm trying to think of it more so coming out in 1988 when it was first aired in that time. So I guess for that, I'm going to give it a B+. Because, yeah, I don't know. The story was dark. You had to sit through a lot watching this movie. So I'm going to give it a B+, but it wasn't a bad movie. I actually really enjoyed it. I like movies like this. I have kind of like the thriller feel, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so
There's literally an explosion at the end.
yeah, there you go. So I'll give it a B+.
I do love genre-defying things. I love when you're watching something super dark and you're laughing, or when you're watching something super funny and there's just really messed up stuff happening. So in that sense, I like Heathers because it isn't something that gets made very often. It's something that I think studios and creatives are scared to make. But it also provides this social commentary that you don't get unless you take risks. That being said, it does not have the rewatchability of something like Beetlejuice, where I can just turn it on and kick back. And, you know, it's like you got to be in a really bizarre mood to be like, I want to watch Heathers. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a B.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a B as well. Mostly because of the writing style. I was really into it. And just going back to your like genre-defying sort of film, you don't see that kind of nitty-gritty film because it's like dark comedy. You know, it was making fun of us, really, just who we are. And the way that they, just going back to just like the way it was written, like I said, I felt like it was a very interesting style to it. It almost felt like poetry. There were moments where like JD and Veronica were rhyming after one another. And yeah, I would give it a B for that. When it comes to Winona Ryder, who's this 101 is highlighting, what are the grades that we give Winona?
I'm giving Winona an A+ for this one. I mean, she's so angsty, and you can see in the beginning that she wants to be popular, but she's just kind of torn. And then she plays the vulnerable girl who's swept up in a boy really well. And then by the end, she's just a fucking badass, just covered in soot, hair blown out. There's a new sheriff in town, and then goes off and hangs out with her friend. Like, I think she's just a badass in this movie, but also has a vulnerability to her that is super relatable.
I think I'm going to give her an A. I thought she did a very good job in the role that she was given, and especially since her agent didn't even want her to do this role. At times, I felt like she could have had a little more sympathy, like when her best friend had died, even though she killed her. Or she didn't personally kill her, but you know what I mean.
She basically killed her.
Yeah. Like, and her parents were like, oh, blah, blah. And she's like, yep, okay, gotta go to this funeral. I'm like, you can at least, like, fake it and, like, have fake tears coming out so it's not, like, questionable kind of thing. But I get it. It's part of the movie, but I'll give her an A.
It's a departure from Beetlejuice for sure, because Beetlejuice, she's kind of this like caricature of like a goth teen. Whereas in this, I think, yeah, this weird twist of like a normal kid who's also like being manipulated by this sociopath. And there's just there's more layers to it, I think. And I just think she kills it. And it's a little, you know, it was hard for me to be unbiased when it came to Beetlejuice, because that's like my favorite thing in the world. This one, I'm a little bit more objective, I think, when I look at her portrayal and her performance and kind of knowing where she ends up and how she continues to improve. I'd probably give her like a B+ in this one.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to average it out to an A because from her delivery, it sounded like she was committed and kind of just like, you know, bringing in this like teenage angst. And one, you know, she was also a teenager at the time. I felt like it was a lot easier for her to just do that, to just be that. Like, oh, this is my age. I might as well just, all right, I'll give her a B+ because of that. Because it's not like she's reaching. She's just, in a sense, might even just be being herself. Because I feel like she would probably be, I don't know anything about Winona Ryder's personal life, but she may have been an outcast in her high school years. And that's probably why she fits so well in doing these Beetlejuices and these Heathers. But yeah, I think I'm stuck between B+ and an A because I'm interested in what else we're going to watch to see what sort of growth or what kind of like.
Right. I'm sure after we all watch Girl Interrupted, we're going to look back at Heathers and be like, okay, we'll give her a B+ for Heathers because this role, like, she was so impactful. Y'all just wait.
You can give her an A-, Alex.
I'll give her
There
an
you
A-.
go.
That's
Well,
right.
she's like 17 in this. So
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
it
She's
is.
a high
It's-
school student.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tricky.
All right, so Heathers was released by New World Pictures in 1988 and was written by Daniel Waters and directed by Michael Lehman.
It stars Winona Ryder as Veronica Sawyer, Christian Slater as JD, Shannon Doherty as Heather Duke, Lizane Falk as Heather McNamara, and Kim Walker as Heather Chandler.
All right, where can we find you, junkies?
You can find me, Shauna Trinidad, at Shauna Trinidad, ShaunaTrinidad, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
You can find me, Nicole, on Instagram and TikTok at Nicole_Eldridge and on Twitter at NAEldridge14.
You can find me, Haley, on Instagram at 30NerdyThriving.
And I'm Alex at ALCASNUN on Instagram and Twitter. Find us online at popculturejunkie.com. Visit us on Facebook at Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. And don't forget to join our Pop Culture Junkie support group. You can see us on Instagram at pop.culturejunkies, Twitter at Pop Junkies, and don't forget, we have a Patreon, Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. Woo! See us for all the things and all the wildness that you won't catch in any regular episode on Patreon.
All of pictures of our toes.
All the toes.
Nicole's farts in jars.
Oh, yeah. Woo! Get ready for our next Winona Ryder 101 lesson by watching Reality Bites. And come back next week for another hit of pop culture.
Pop Culture Junkie is a production of Pop Culture Entertainment Group.
So entertain me.